This is the Moonshine Horsepower podcast. You have myself, Jamie Lima, and across from me is Michael Van Orden. And today, for podcast number 1, we wanted to go over purchasing a bike at your local Harley-Davidson dealership. And it's a lot different than buying a bike or a vehicle at a car dealership. And one of the advantages we have is Harley has their own bank, which is Harley-Davidson Financial. And the differences between financing at a car dealership and financing at your Harley-Davidson dealership is the amount of money Harley Financial will actually loan on a vehicle. A lot of people don't know this. So we kind of wanted to break it down in case you're looking at buying a motorcycle, especially if you want to go over and beyond just the purchase of the motorcycle and you wanted to add accessories, whether it's small, you just want maybe a seat, some bars, or you want to go crazy because you're after a performance bagger and you want to do one of Harley's big 135s, maybe a 131 engine kit. And the best time to do it, if you're not going to be paying cash, is the day you purchase the motorcycle from the dealership.
Because then it's just a monthly payment.
Yeah, you can roll in your monthly payment. And after you buy the bike, you really don't have an option to be like, hey, I want to put $8,000 for a 135 crate motor in my motorcycle.
And I can do it $100 a month.
Yeah, there's not a lot of companies that will be like, hey, here's 10 grand, go spend it on parts at your local dealership. You could do it on a credit card, but then you have the compound interest.
Well, so HDFS, that'd be Harley-Davidson Financial Services, right? That's what it's called.
Roll it back. It used to be Eagle Mark Savings Bank. And a lot of customers that come in, there'll be Eagle Mark Savings Bank on the statement, or it's Harley-Davidson Financial Services. And the reason there's two names is it was originally Eagle Mark Savings Bank. Harley-Davidson bought it, took possession of it, and then they have both names still. They still have the original name and the Harley-Davidson Financial Services.
So Eagle Mark partnered with them and then Harley acquired them? How did that work?
Eagle Mark was an outside lender at one time.
They just favored Harley-Davidson?
Yep, and then Harley-Davidson came in and took ownership of the company. Now they control it.
Now, I know that, in my motorcycle buying in the past, there are a lot of private banks don't do that.
No,
they won't give you the extra money like HDFS will. Some of them will even require like 50% down.
So credit unions are all over the board. What we've noticed is they're anywhere from 90% to usually about 110. The most we ever see a outside lender do is maybe 120%. So if they're 90%, that's 90% of the baseline vehicle. They don't cover taxes, fees at a dealership, anything else. So a lot of times when you go through a credit union, it takes a little bit more money out of pocket to get it done. Not always, but they're definitely not going to roll in the extra money needed for an engine build or something substantial as far as rolling a bunch of money into the loan. So
because a lot of that, like that 110%, the extra 10% is going to cover a lot of the fees and taxes, because the 100% is just the price of the bike without taxes, licensing.
Right. So when it's 110%, it covers most of the fees and taxes. You're left with a little bit you take care of it.
I think that confuses people, and they're like, "Well, I got 110%. Why do I still owe you money?"
Yeah. And now, if you're good credit, most credit unions on tiers, 700 and above credit scores, they will finance the zero down, give them a whole loan for it. So what they do is they take the vehicle you're buying, and they're not just taking the MSRP of your vehicle. They're taking MSRP of the model you're buying, and they're adding every option to make it the most expensive version of that model you're buying. So our number one sold bike is a Road Glide. So we'll just break down a Road Glide. A base color of a Road Glide right on Harley-Davidson's website, check it out right here, is $25,999. Now, if you add Vivid Black, the price goes up $600. But Harley's going to give you the option for the premium color because it costs more. Then Harley is going to allow you to add the $1,350 for the finish. So they're going to give you the $850 for the premium color, the $1,350 for the black finish, ABS is standard, security standard, cruise control standard. They're even going to add in the $200 for California emissions in case you're a California customer. And then they're going to add their freight of $850. So they're going to add up the most expensive model, where if we add all those up, the $25.99, your premium color of $850, your black finish of $1,350, California emissions, and Harley-Davidson freight, the total for that model, which is maxed out, is $29,249. So that's the number that they're going to base the 100% of.
No matter where you are.
No matter where you are. So if you're buying a bike that doesn't have all those options, and you're getting the regular color, which is the gray, you're getting the chrome finish, your bike's $25,999, and Harley's already loaning their 100% $29,249 when your bike is $25,999. So you're already ahead in the game there. But then that's your 100%. Harley does 150% of that value. So the bike, MSRP maxed out of the most loaded one you can get is $29,249. 150% of that is $43,874. So, a couple things that we deal with at the dealers, even though the 29 is your loaded price, by the time you get that bike out the door with registration fees for the state, taxes for wherever you live, it could be anywhere from 3% tax to 11% tax depending on where you reside. And if you buy a blacked out bike, I did numbers on a blacked out Road Glide that's black paint, the average OTD would be about $31,500.
And that's if you're being sold the bike at MSRP.
Yeah, not all dealers are MSRP. So we are an MSRP dealership. And if they are, you're going to be close to a $31,500 out the door number with all the dealer fees associated with the bike and your tax and tag. So if we take the 150% number, which is your loan, you guys want to add some really cool parts. We're saying go over a couple different engine kits here. So you have $43,874 Harley's allowing if your credit is worthy enough for it. So not all tiers qualify for the 150, and your debt to income ratio has to be in a certain percentage to qualify. But we see a lot of them come through where they're actually maxing out the 150. So when we take that blacked out Road Glide, $31,500 minus from the $43,874, it leaves you with $12,374 to add to the financing for anything you want to add. It doesn't matter if you're adding jeans, if you're adding some chrome, some performance parts, you have $12,374 to add.
Now, I come into the dealership and I want to buy a red Road Glide with black ABS. I want to do some accessories, whatever. I want to do a long haul kit on it, right? And I want to finance everything. When you run my credit, do they give you the max? Do you get that 150%? Or do I need to say I want to go this much over before they even ask? Do they start at the top down or do you work at the bottom and then go up?
They give you the most your debt to income ratio will allow. So first they go off credit tier to determine where you are. Then they look at the asset you're buying, how much it is, and how much room you have left in your debt to income. So if your debt to income still has room left, they want to max you out every time. So they give us the max.
So you're going to get the paper that says you got 12 grand.
You have $43,874. And then the kicker is even on top of that number, they give us additional 12% for extended service plans, which would be your extended warranties. We don't call them warranties because you're purchasing it. A warranty is with the bike. The bikes, all Harleys come with a 2-year unlimited mile warranty out of the box, and they give you 12% more than the 150 that I already told you for the bike and parts, just for the extended service plans to keep you covered. So Harley wants to make sure that your bike is fixed. One, they have to repo it.
Yeah.
You have a warranty, they know it's fixed. Two, if you have a warranty, you're more likely to take care of your motorcycle.
Right.
You care more about it.
And then you get into like the certified pre-owned and all that with maintenance plans. So that 12%, that would be like maintenance plans,
only ESP.
Extended warranty, so it's just warranty.
To get into that money. Otherwise, if you want a maintenance plan, we gotta stay in the 150. But you can go over the 150% if you want an extended service plan. And whenever you buy a vehicle, whether you're buying a Ford, a Toyota, a Tesla, or a Harley-Davidson, the warranty through the manufacturer is always the best warranty. The aftermarket warranties on factory parts aren't always the same. And the reason why the manufacturer warranties are the best, if you're all OEM on your motorcycle, is they have an invested interest to keep you happy. They want to fix the motorcycle because they want you to buy that motorcycle again. They want to fix your truck, your car, because they want you to buy another one from them later down the road.
And they want you to repurchase the warranty as well.
And they want you to buy another warranty. Absolutely. So if you have an option for an aftermarket warranty or the OEM, always go with the OEM. Now, there's a couple cases that we do because we're Moonshine Horsepower where we do aftermarket warranties, because if we go outside OEM parts on the motorcycle and we start doing some aftermarket parts, that's where the aftermarket warranties are going to kick in, and you're going to want to look at the options available to you and what your dealership has. We have them available for our customers because of all the high performance work we do, and we're always looking to improve the warranty as well and make it better for our customers. So every year we change the warranty a little bit to actually get it better.
Yeah, and they do get tricky. I mean, sometimes you just don't check a box, and then the next thing you know, we're arguing with the warranty company a year, 2 years down the road. I don't understand why you're not covering this.
Well, we've been through a couple warranty companies, and we're working on another one right now. We just want the best we can provide for our customers coming to our dealership. So we sell a ton of the Harley warranty for everyone that's doing OEM stuff. When we're going outside OEM, we're always looking for the best option and redoing the stuff we can.
Well, and CNA, Harley's in-house aftermarket warranty, now you can do the option for Screaming Eagle.
Yeah.
So you can get the base supplemental protection, I guess is what you'd probably call it more than anything else. And then you can also, if you take that extra money, you buy a bunch of Harley accessories, that you can get that covered under your additional warranty, which I think they just started doing this year.
They did, and they used to have it where almost covered everything. And then, you know, post 2017, warranties got trickier than before 2017. So now, if you think you're going to be adding some high performance parts, you should buy the SE warranty from Harley-Davidson, because once you have the warranty, there's no way to just add in the SE later.
Right.
So you need to kind of buy the Screaming Eagle warranty from day one. And now when you add all this additional money to your loan, it increases your payment, of course. But there's not a good way to do a loan for the additional parts, especially at this kind of value, for $12,374 on a bike that's after the fact. You know, we do some that are $5,000 that will handle parts and accessories, but not $12,374. So the reason we bring this up is we do a lot of builds that are between $5,000 and $20,000. And if you don't want to come out of pocket the whole amount, we need to take advantage of this. So the best time to actually do your build is when you're trading in your old bike or just purchasing a new bike without a trade. Get the extra money from Harley-Davidson Financial Services, make your loan payment higher, but roll everything you want for your bike all in at once. And a lot of customers don't understand they have this availability. So when they come in and they purchase their bike, they're not thinking about, hey, what can I add on there that I'm going to buy later anyway? And maybe I'll just take a little higher payment today, giving up all my cash later down the road.
Or they don't realize that, like, say I come in for that red Road Glide and I want the long haul package because my buddy has it. Unless I'm told, I may not know that I also have $3,000 more to do whatever. I can get a jacket, I can replace my helmet. You can do all of that with that financing, right?
Right.
With that extra money.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing that's a good point to bring up is a lot of customers, when they come in, they don't realize, they don't get an approval that tells them the amount they're approved for. It's not like Harley sends it to them. The sales managers get it, the sales team gets it, maybe the finance manager at the dealership gets it, but they don't always tell the customer, hey, you have $44,000 available to you. You're only using 25 of it. Would you like to add stuff? A lot of dealers have good practices where they go around the dealership, and after you do the purchase, they want to see if you want to add stuff in. But I don't know if a lot of dealerships do a good job of explaining how much money they actually have available to use for anything they want in the dealership that day.
Or the payment implication. I wonder if part of that is because, you know, I want to stay under $700 a month in my payment. They're like, okay, so they tabulate it all up, and they're like, well, he has 12, but we're going to cut that down to 6 so that we can keep him in the payment that he wants, even though I might be able to do 800.
Right, we see that a lot, but then we have the customer that once their payment for their bike is, let's say, 700, and they're like, okay, that's my bike payment, and then they can add these cool parts, they're okay with their payment going up because now they want those parts, so now they'll justify a higher payment. Sometimes we can't. Sometimes we have to keep the payment in there because someone's got a budget, we're not adding anything in, or sometimes, hey, we have to get the bike with X parts for this payment, and we try to get that done for the customer if it's feasible.
So on the sales side, how would you want to handle that? If I come in and I say, well, I want to get my payment $700, I want the long haul package, I'm qualified for, I've got 12,000 sitting there. So far I'm at 3,500, my payment's $695.
Well, typically we would show you what it costs with the package in there on a couple different terms. And if they're higher than where you want to be, you either have to go higher on your expectations for payment as a customer, or we can give you options for maybe a different package on the bike. Maybe we drop one of these. Maybe you're on a premium plus color and we go down to the standard color. Maybe we drop the black finish. So sometimes maybe we bring the model of the bike down a little bit, or we show the customer, hey, to get to the exact payment you're looking for, it requires this much money down. So we have two options. We have customers bring in a little bit more capital to the initial down payment of the vehicle, get the payment where they want. We have customers that just go up because it's real close to where they want to be, and they just...
Well, what I'm saying is I know I've dealt with some customers that they throw that monthly payment out there because that's what their circle of riders says around what they pay, right? And you're going to get something similar, but I don't know that I have $3,000 or $4,000 more dollars out there, and I just need to go up $100 in my payment, which I could do, but I didn't say that. How do you flush that out? How do you, like, should the customer say my payment doesn't matter, and then when it gets to you, I go, okay, it does matter?
Well, I think what it is you get them the payment they want for their motorcycle, and then when you're over in the parts department because they're waiting for their paperwork to be done, hey, anything you're going to spend in the parts department, you can get. You're approved through $6,000 more than what you're currently using through the bank. And if you use it, your payment goes up. The payment's going to go up anywhere from 17. I'm going to give a big range here because it depends on the term you're financing the motorcycle. It's going to go up $17 to $30 a month per $1,000 financed. Yeah. So let's just use $20 per $1,000. So if you add $4,000 of parts, your payment's going to go up $80. You know, it could be $25 per $1,000, and then you add $4,000 of parts, your payment just went up $100.
But I could get a helmet that's a $900 helmet that's nice that I wouldn't be able to, you know, not a lot of people have $900 and just be like, I want to go buy a helmet.
Especially when you're dropping the cash.
But you could do it for $20 a month and you don't really notice it.
Yeah, easily. It just makes it feel less when you roll $20 into a payment. And the reason we want to go over this today is there's just so many variables. And it's, if you don't buy stuff all the time at dealerships, it's a little intimidating. You got to process. You know, you have a trade-in we got to look at. You got to pick out the right bike. So when you're going to do this, it's better to be prepared as a customer and have all your ducks in a row. Know exactly what parts you want to put on the bike, what bike you're looking at. Maybe go on the Harley-Davidson's website and you can get pre-approved right on their website, and it will shoot your approval to the dealership that is closest to your zip code where you are. And then the dealership gets it. You can kind of see what you're already approved for beforehand. It doesn't give them all the terms, but you can call your local dealership after it says you're approved, and they can give you your terms.
When you do it that way, is it going to just give you the $29,249, or is it going to give you $43,000?
Harley wants you to finance as much as you're qualified for. So Harley gives you the biggest, and that's what's so cool about it.
And then you can tailor it from there.
Well, not only is it our bank that does it, that's the advantage we have over Indian, Honda, Suzuki, any other motorcycle company kind of out there. The only other one that has their own bank that's really owned by them is Honda Financial. Honda has Honda Financial, and they have it, but they don't loan 140 or 150% like we do.
No, their bikes don't maintain equity.
It's a huge advantage. And not only are we loaning more money than anyone else, we are approving more tiers. We approve farther down credit tiers than most lenders ever touch. So Harley is a primary lender and a secondary lender rolled into one bank. That way, when you come to a Harley dealer, most of the time, Harley dealerships are using probably 80+% of the motorcycles they sell are going through Harley-Davidson Financial Services. The other 20% are cash deals, small credit unions.
Local banks, whatever.
Local banks, maybe a secondary lender that customer has really good rapport with that they like. So we see that too. And a couple things. So earlier we went over how your average black on black Road Glide 2024 is about 31.5 OTD. It's going to fluctuate depending on your taxes, tag, registration, but that leaves us $12,374 to roll into the financing. A couple things I pulled out is a Harley 131 kit. To take that 117 to a 131, the kit's roughly $4,000. It's $3,949.95. And that's not everything you need to complete the build, but that's 80% of it. You know, you have labor on top of it. You're probably gonna do some cool stuff to your clutch. Maybe you'll stick with this exhaust or go with aftermarket exhaust. Same thing on a Harley 135 crate engine. So a Harley 135 crate engine, they're $7,999.95. You're gonna need some additional parts for your clutch and everything else, but the loan is gonna allow you to roll both of those in as long as you can handle the payment. Now, a lot of times when we do Harley-Davidson Financial, you have to be really good credit tier to come out of pocket zero. The most percentage down we see from Harley Financial is 10%. They want a 10% investment. And the 10% isn't of taxes, everything. It's 10% of the purchase price of the motorcycle, what that comes to, and 10% of the parts. So if you're gonna roll $8,000 of parts into your loan, you might have to come up with $800 down.
No, but if you have a bike to trade in, that can cover part of the down payment.
Yeah, so positive equity.
Your equity.
Oh, positive equity counts as down payment. So a lot of times when someone has a trade and they're in a good financial situation, the equity far exceeds the down payment needed. Especially if you financed it for 48 months, 60 months. If you financed it for 84 months and only had the bike a year or two, you might not be in a positive equity stance. But positive equity will take care of the down payment we need for the bank.
How do they roll negative equity into a loan? They absorb it with that extra money?
Absolutely. So sometimes you still need 10% down, and it'd be 10% of the bike you're purchasing, plus 10% of your negative equity would be your down payment. But Harley Financial will also let us roll in an infinite amount of negative equity as long as it fits in the approval amount of money they've given us. Other banks, a lot of local credit unions or banks we use will not allow any negative equity to be rolled into the loan at all.
Because it's the risk outweighs the reward for them. It's not their specialty.
Well, you're adding money to a vehicle that shouldn't be there typically.
Right.
But Harley wants you to have a Harley. They understand it's a better investment than the other manufacturers out there, and they stand behind their product. And that's why they loan this amount of money.
And most likely you're going to bring that Harley back and just get another Harley.
Yep. And what's cool about Harley is if you've always been good to Harley Financial Services and some other stuff has gone by the wayside, as long as you've taken care of Harley Financial Services, they will give you another approval typically. Now, depending on where your tier is, credit worthiness, you could be a little higher interest rate or lower interest rate than last time. If your credit improved from the last time you bought, you're going to get a better interest rate. If your credit's dropped down a couple tiers, you'll have a little bit higher interest. So a couple variables to think of, but no other manufacturer I've ever seen has loaned the amount of money we do. And we just wanted to go over this. That way, if you're trying to buy a motorcycle, one, you can call us and buy it here. Harley has some rules on new bikes. If you buy a new bike from us, you have to come to the store to sign the paperwork. We can ship the bike to you afterwards, but you have to be in the building to actually get this done. Otherwise, go to your local dealership, arm yourself with information, find out what you want to add to the vehicle, find out the vehicle cost, let them know how much money down you have, and get the whole package at one time.
Well, and it also kind of explains why you may, when you're sitting down with the salesman and the sales manager and you get all the haggling out of the way and you're at $780 a month, and then you go in and do financing, and then all of a sudden you're at $850 a month, and you're like, why did my payment change? Because you added that extra. You start adding things because you have the extra money, but that isn't necessarily calculated in on the front side. So when they calculate it on the back side and there's a discrepancy.
Yeah, well, every dealership's different. Some dealerships don't even show payments until they're in the finance office and picked everything out. Some dealerships, like us, we want to go over the payment on just the motorcycle to make sure everything's comfy for you before we go to a lengthier process and just keep you going in the dealership for longer if the payment's not where you need it.
Right.
So we go over it up front. We'll go over the motorcycle, get that payment out of the way, make sure everything's fine. Then we'll bring you over to the rest of the dealership to figure out if you want parts and everything. And then we'll tell you, hey,
what that adds.
Yeah, customer picks out parts with a parts representative or a horsepower manager. They bring us back the sheet. The salesman will bring back the sales manager the sheet. Hey, customer wants X parts in his deal. What does that do to his payment? We could tell him before he goes in finance, or he can wait to go into finance. Every dealership's different, and some of the problems that we see from other dealerships is the customer's buying the bike and the salesman's taking care of them. The salesman makes commission on the motorcycle. The salesman doesn't make any commission if you're buying a helmet, if you're buying parts. So sometimes the salesman wants the sales process to be faster so he can get another customer, so they don't always bring you to the other departments, let you pick out all that money, put them into a deal, because it does take a little longer.
Right.
So be patient with the dealership. But if that's what you want, they should be taking you over there to make sure, because there's only one day to finalize that loan. Once it's finalized, it's locked in. We can't add money to it later down the road. So very beneficial to go through Harley. And if we go through Eagle Mark Savings Bank and you find someone's rate out there that's better later down the road, you can refinance it at any time without a prepayment penalty. But stuff to think about when you're looking to purchase your new hog.
Yeah, I like it.
What else do you think they'd be worried about?
I think we did pretty good for number one.
Yeah. Man,
I mean, it can be pretty rough for people to, you see it all the time when they're like, that's not what they told me my payment was going to be. That's because you added all this stuff. And every time you're adding $1,000, it's $25, and then they get in there, they forget. And, you get so much information when you buy a major purchase like this that I don't think anybody remembers all of it.
Yeah, there's that. And then what we see too is a lot of customers come in on the weekend with their buddies, not really looking to buy.
Yeah.
Boom, they come in, they're having fun, they're hanging out with their buddies, they just rode their bike all day, they're like, man, I love riding my bike. And then the next thing you know, he's like, I'll test ride it. Brand new CVO ST, rides it, gets off of it, goes back and looks at his bike, looks at the new CVO ST, he's like, dang, shouldn't have rode it. And then they're buying it. So sometimes you're just thrown in this because of the excitement of the new vehicle and you didn't prepare for all of it. If you did, comes in handy. If not, hopefully you're in a good dealership like ours that will go over all the options available to you when you're buying and financing a motorcycle.
So how do you know what MSRP is?
Right at Harley-Davidson.com.
Go
Go to their website. Here, we'll do it right now. You go to the website, you pick out your bike, boom. Down here, there's an option for pricing with the positive. You're gonna click this guy. This is gonna show you the base color. It's gonna show you the option for vivid black. It's going to show you an option for premium plus color. And then there's typically an option for the finish because a lot of bikes come in either the chrome setup from Harley or a blacked out look. And then depending on the model, there'll be options for ABS, security, cruise control. And then freight's always on there too. So a lot of Harley dealerships have freight. A lot of dealerships are going to charge you the freight that actually Harley charged us to get it. Some dealerships will charge you a little more because they had to move the bikes around maybe to a couple different locations they have. So they might all go into a mother store and they have to be shipped to some other stores. The advantage of having multiple stores is they have a bigger inventory to pick from sometimes. So the freight might be a little bit higher than what you see on Harley-Davidson's website, but a lot of dealers will actually charge exactly what Harley charges them.
And is this, from here, I know also another cool tool on Harley-Davidson.com is you can actually go and look at what parts would look like installed on the bike, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, you can go into Harley and build a payment sometimes, which I don't like as much because they're not factoring in the freight, the setup, your registration, your tax and tag, or do they know the exact tier you're approved on? They're going to show you the best interest rate available at some promo. Right. And not all the customers qualify for it. So we see a lot of customers go into the Harley tool to see their payment and it's way off from what it actually comes in, maybe because of their approval, maybe because they didn't realize they had negative equity on their bike. Bunch of different scenarios. So be careful with that tool because it's not perfect data. But you can go online, you can build a list of parts you want. When you're on Harley-Davidson, Harley-Davidson.com, you can go into parts, you can click your bike you're looking at, the year, make, and model, and it won't give you parts that don't fit your motorcycle,
right,
which is kind of cool. Yeah, it's come a long way. And then they've come out with a bunch of packages to make it easier to accessorize them.
Yeah,
earlier,
one part.
Yeah,
the long haul package.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier. The long haul package. It comes with docking hardware. It comes with a tour pack. It comes with a tour pack rack. It doesn't come with the tour pack. You pick out the tour pack separate. That's paint match. But the long haul package comes with everything but that tour pack. It comes with a different seat. What else does it come with? Highway pegs.
Yeah, highway pegs. The rack. It comes with mid-engine deflectors.
Yep, heat deflectors.
I think that's heel shifter
on it. So really cool package Harley put together because they've realized, hey, when we sell a new bike, these parts are the most installed parts on the bike anyway. There's a day tripper,
which is a sissy
bar and a couple parts. There's a performance package they do. So take a look at those too if you're looking at purchasing a bike to see what you want on your motorcycle.
They have coordinated kits that have like the same family of grips, foot pegs, and they all come as a unit, which is kind of cool. So it's one part number. It makes it easy and all comes in one box. It's easy for us or the customer or anyone to install. Must be raining pretty good, huh?
I think it's hailing outside. That might be a little hail today. Yeah, so a lot of information. If you guys have questions, you can call the shop. Let us know what bike you're looking for. We'll try to help you out as much as possible.
Talk to General Sales Manager Joe.
Also, call your dealership. Go see your local dealership. Ask these questions. Find out what you're approved for. Find out what they can do. Make sure you understand your payment. We just want to go over the buying process because sometimes a lot of information all in one day for you to go over.
Yeah.
Appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for listening or watching. See you next time.